away, as that is
it.
owner's Lee Sin. That's much better than Sejuani.
Yeah,
and that's Lee LeBlanc.
Yeah, that makes us a lot happier. But yeah, Rooster played it in Challengers, unfortunately didn't get the win.
Some Tides of Blood coming out, and I'm just doing my very best to try and remember what Vladimir's abilities are called, and didn't do too badly.
If you're Vladimir, that kind of does sound like a dream scenario, as we do have the trade coming through here, where the grubs are being taken by T1. We do have the light in the area, but with Prio for top and mid, I don't think that they can get more than maybe a cheeky steal here for Peanut.
Yeah, Peanut is just going to walk in and sort of punch a little bit here, as Delight will throw the exhaust down onto Faker.
That bot side and mid lane pressure as Ozeka.
Yeah, he is going to get hit. There's the ulti. It is blocked, but does do a fair bit of work as the kick comes through. Chain going to come down, and now Peanut's looking for Owner. He's taken a lot of damage. Cease and desist comes in, and that's first blood to Peanut. And Faker now looking to try and get him, but the arrow is going to sail wide, and he says, top of the morning. Arrow will hit onto Doran. He goes into his pool eventually. Early game tempo advantage I was expecting out of this composition, as Owner is going to look to start off Dragon number 2, and that will mean that both teams trading the first couple of Dragons and the Grubs.
I wonder if Doran is going to be in time. So what they did here is they swapped Viper towards top to ensure that they get the Grubs. I think they're a little bit late on this. We'll see. I don't think they're going to get this, but maybe they get the fight.
Yep, that's a teleport to come in, as now Doran throws down the Hemo Plague. Tides of Blood coming out. They put up the door, and that will
much end up throwing away a teleport, which isn't the end of the world. Doran is still able to catch the bot side wave. And we do have Mountain, which I think for both teams, it's best if you don't give it to the opponent, because they're both very bursty. T1's, I'd say, is more reliant on actually like getting an initiative. Hanwha alive, so they overloaded the top half of the map there with the express intention as, Viper, he is low and doesn't have Satchel.
Yeah, it's the flash forward from Faker. Viper is going to flash away, and now Peanut is just trying to play interference. Mega Inferno Bomb comes down, but Faker is not going to die to that one and is now looking for Peanut, possibly. Vault Breaker should be able to keep him alive here, and the interruption is gorgeous from Peanut. Avoids the Q there.
Gangs and eat these plays consistently has now meant that the necessary lead.
Disappointed. So thankfully, Viper has done a decent job.
Side lane, something like the like Zay's cannon might become a problem to deal with, but you have the lockdown to deal with Faker in this with this Vi. As mid lane turret falls before.
Pops back to his distortion, now that's on cooldown, gets back to the other one as well. Underneath the turret they go, but the ulti flies through, the arrow is going to connect! And that is Peanut taken down. Delight comes in to finish the job, and they go 1 for 1, but the turret is going to fall on the top side. T1 taking more.
And Faker able to drag him back. Peanut not able to set up for the Ziggs. That would have been an early kill. Very, very cleanly done. His Owner,
he's just dead here underneath his turret. Will get knocked up by Zeka's Q. That's nicely done there, but a little bit out of place was the Lee Sin.
Yeah, it's easy to forget because we haven't seen Zeka do this as much, but he is the melee mid guy.
He is the Yone guy.
Yeah, that is what he does. As many of us will remember if you were watching in 2022.
As right now, T1 collapsing onto this Dragon. Doran trying to keep himself alive here in this side lane as Peanut off to the side as well. Viper wants to find an angle.
He also
get that bomb down, and let's see whether Delight can layer through that ulti. Teleports come in from the Vladimir as the Dragon's down to sub 50%. T1 feeling a little bit dicey about this play, considering the fact that it's a 5-stack of Hanwha Life Esports players. They do manage to take down Hemo Play, comes in, the ulti from Zeka is gigantic, and everyone explodes. Maker's still alive, Zayas trying to do what he can, but he will just be popped. They get rid of Viper once again.
And, oh man, again.
Oh, the arrow splash damage for the takedown. Yeah, not going to happen, not this time. And that is going to be the Baron because Hanwha Life Esports with this Baron are pushing down this inner turret on the top side. And with Baron, it's a... if I remember that he's in a side lane right now, we are going to see that Faker is looking to try and deny this take on the inner turret, but it's not going to happen. Another pull going to come forward. There's a Mega Inferno Bomb. So much damage as Gumayushi is just eviscerated. There goes Owner as well, and the ulti comes through from...
Right. Coming out of draft, we knew T1 had to use the mid jungle. I don't even feel like...
What's the hat that Brolaf wears? Maybe that's Doran. As, all right, Mega Inferno Bomb, just get rid of the minion wave. It is not going to be enough to save this turret. And I think, yeah, Doran might also be dead. The kick does come back, and that chain CCs the Vladimir. A bit of
Such a good game. Only died once.
Yeah, he is also killing it in a turret. It's really cool.
Bounty gold!
He's now really dead, but he did do his job. And they're just not going to waste any cooldowns on him. Did do a fair bit of damage to Zeka, but he can actually make this one happen.
That could make it extend. There's a bounty as well.
Yep, in goes Peanut. They're looking for the fight. Mega Inferno Bomb comes down. They lock up the Ashe, and they just had a Freljordian bounty out, I guess, on both of them. As now Faker's in trouble. He is just dead. I think that is Hemoplague will be able to finish. Never mind.
Okay, secret agent
Owner.
Owner.
Yeah, Owner is just looking to try and get it done.
Okay.
Zeka is 1v1ing the Baron.
They still don't know.
Faker is Alcove Gaming, looking to try and get himself out.
They don't know.
It's going to be Viper that locks up that. Sorry, it's Delight that locks
It's the
up
loop gone!
This is super weird. I have no idea what's going on here. He's looped around forever. He's looking for the angle, but he gives away his position. And now they're going to try and get him out of there. The knockup does come on through. The Ziggs locks up the kill. Zeus is not able to take down the Baron, and this game is over, ladies and gentlemen.
Owner just sitting in that brush as his entire team gets massacred. Like, guys, if I can steal,
it was like
it'll be
Galaxy
worth it.
Brain confusion over and over again. And it turned into a little bit of a confusing outcome there as T1, they had to throw a Hail Mary. It did not connect, and HLE Esports are looking to take down game number 1.
Absolute masterclass from the mid-jungle duo, from Hanwha Life here. Able to detect every single early play. And again, I know he wasn't the main character, but that Zig pick, we got to look after it because it feels like it also allows Zeka to just pick Yone like this.
Yeah, and he went 4-0-10, and he had Renekton is just going to be locked in.
R5 Renekton,
the good old R5 Renekton. We've gone back to the KT strats. Sejuani Renekton, baby.
Okay, but that is itself counter pick.
Yeah.
But it looks like...
Okay, Carrier just going in, can mitigate a lot of this, but Faker's going to move over. That is so much Spirit Fire value. The flash out from Peanut, and Delight is going down low. Doran now trying to tank things up as Carrier might be taken down, but he gets the shield as he pulls back the scalpel, and there it is, the Spirit Fire. Stop this. Peanut is just going to have to trade it for some grubs that are going to be coming up now.
Yeah, also don't have botlane prio. Right now he doesn't.
Well, he is going to get taunted. Speed drop does come through. There's the Encore, and Doran is just dead. Didn't have a chance. Rough one.
Oh, that's a 4-man dive.
Yep, looking for an opportunity. Ragnarok is up and available as he has thrown it down. Mega Inferno Bomb, it's pretty difficult to outplay that one, and it's Mom that's able to lock down the kill. Still, Zeus gets one back. Peanut looking for his go here, level 7. There's the flash, Arctic Assault, and the Permafrost comes down. Peanut once again tanking the turret, and that is going to be Zeka getting a stack. It has been nice knowing you. And 10 minutes. There is still 3 minutes left.
You can just rotate him to mid, rotate him to top.
Yeah.
Looks like T1 will be able to get to, Hanwha Life able to get to free grubs here. They do push Peanut off. They do have to give him a dragon, but Dragon in himself, not the end of the world.
X-Tech going to come through. Yeah, Guma is in a whole host of trouble. That's too many circles, and Viper is able to just chaperone Zeus as he heads back home. Zeka in the mid lane, going to force a teleport out from Gumayushi.
Gang, we cannot give Viper a free inner. That is not a thing we can do.
Well, Faker is going to get hit by a bouncing bomb that does do a fair bit of damage here, as we can see. Viper starting to get to work with that Luden's already built up. And everyone is going to turn up. That is, Anasa's turned into a ragdoll and thrown about the place. And you can see Faker there in the player camp, not happy about how that one went, as it is brother versus brother. Never mind, as Zeus is, of course, an Olaf, and he is just going to be able to take down the Renekton. No worries there at all. Delight now underneath this turret, not exactly where he wants to be, because Owner is turning up as well. T1 kind of taking matters into their own hands as they look to get rid of Delight, who is able to taxi his way out. Carrier is going to trade 1-for-1. That was gorgeous from the Leona player, but they're still going to lose an outer turret in the top lane.
It's very telling that despite all that...
Zeus, but it's going to run out very quickly, and Delight is, of course, exactly where he needs to be. The Shield of Daybreak comes down, and there is the Mega Inferno Bomb. It's Eclipse that manages to pop and take the kill, as Zeka is now flapping outside of the map. Teleport to come in here from the Renekton. And HLE Esports, they really want to fight for this. The Ziggs rotating over. Of course, Viper does have a lot of range, so he can affect these team fights as Ona ball breaker now on cooldown for the next couple of seconds, and Doran gets into position. That's an ulti out. The Encore goes entirely wide, and that is the Smolder going down. They do get rid of the Olaf, but have they done enough? The flash over the wall from Viper. Peanut desperately chasing after Ona because they want to take down this Smite. Going to be coming in very, very quickly is the Smolder. You're talking about the Viking as well, Hanwha Esports. I think this Dragon does belong to them, but T1, can they find a fight? No Ragnarok here for Zeus, and there is a lot of CC. Beat gets dropped, but doesn't really do too much there. And the Achu does come down. So that's going to be T1 taking down an outer turret in the mid lane. Hit his stacks for the execute so incredibly early. And we did warn that this was going to be a possibility, right? Into the Nasus. This Smolder will be able to freely stack available. Let's see whether he can actually connect it here. As T1 in position, the Achu comes down. There is the ulti onto the Smolder, the Solar Flare, just to get rid of Ona. And look at that! The Viking runs in and immediately pops like a balloon. There's just too much damage here, and it's a double kill for the Smolder as a result. Out, the rest of T1 moving over. Delight is going to spot Ona here. As they take the Hexgate in, Zeus is going to turn up as now Peanut down to half health. Faker also having to flash to get himself out of the way, and Delight down to 50%. Solar Flare is going to connect. Gumishi doesn't find the ulti as Mega Inferno Bomb does a lot of damage to him, and now Hanwha, they get control of the Dragon. Ona is looking to move in, but he's not able to lock that one down, and look at the damage from Zeka. He's found his window and will be able to take down the Shen. And now Hanwha Esports is just cleanup. Faker is going to get permafrosted, and it looks like he will get chased down. There's just too much CC, too much opportunity, and once
Guma, especially without the ult for Guma, can do anything about this. Carrier's on his way, almost as his ult, but...
Oh, doesn't find a Zenith Blade as now. Let's see whether the Olaf can actually get this one done, as Zeka just says flaps, and he'll get himself out of the way. Look at Viper, he's just standing on a satchel to make sure he can't get CC no matter what happens, but the Smolder does fall down, and the flash from Gumiushi comes in. He's going to be able to get that 50-50. Viper is also there as well. This is real dicey. Throws in the satchel. Delight's going to get in there. There is Carrier over the wall with the taunt, but it's a little bit too early. They're going to look to try and take him down. The blast cone does come in. Peanut, can you actually get in there? It's the cease and desist. Peanut still surviving for such a long time. Mega Inferno Bomb not quite doing it. And now it's the Ziggs versus Goomer and Faker. Let's see whether Viper can actually try and take this down. It's down to 1,000. Oh God, the bombs. The satchel's not enough. And Faker with all the stacks. This lane in the top side, Doran is going to face check Carrier. And this is probably a dead Renekton. And by probably, I mean
Hextech Drake. They should be able to get Soul Point. And if you get Soul Point with
Carrier has to flash to get out of the way of Zeka. And now Peanut just biding his time. Zeus looking for the angle. It's going to be that 50-50 like you were talking about, but it's Peanut that locks down the Dragon. Ona unable to flash the bomb damage, but does at least get himself out of nothing left on the table.
You see the Smolder value there as well, Atlas. The fact that you can Owner.
All right, Peanut just bypasses him. The Solar Flare going to connect, and they get the priority target. Oh man, I thought they were going to focus Ona, but instead they get the Seraphine, the flash forward from Peanut to make sure Ona cannot escape. They'll take his GA, and then they'll take his life. The satchel put in place, and Zeka's able to lock it down.
Gets on top of Guma, catches him off guard. That is going to be the Baron going over to Hanwha.
And as Peanut going to try and escape here as Zeus moving on in. We'll be able to put on a fair bit of pressure, and Carrier gets over as well. Peanut isn't exactly a priority target, and now Doran's going in, looking for the angles here. The permafrost comes down, and Ona, no GA anymore, and is just going to be cut down where he stands. His timer is exactly the same as that of the Dragon, so he's not going to be there for the Hextech Soul. And meanwhile, Zeker's just kind of winning the game, I guess. Taking down this inhibitor turret and inhibitor in the bottom lane. Some teleports being used, but I think Hanwha Esports just have winning the game on their minds right now. Teleports have come in from Doran as well, and now Delight, I think he's found Zeus, who is just going to get chain CC'd. I mean, he's an Olaf.
That's Olaf.
So he doesn't really get chain CC'd, but he has to use it, and now he's able to take down the Leona. That's not your base gate, so getting out here is going to be difficult. However, both of them can make it over walls, and so Doran and Delight are just dead. That's a lot of Ds.
Hey, that might be enough for T1 to contest.
Well, Kerry's just going to flash to get the taunt onto Zeka, but he just dies. Zeus is now in trouble. One sneeze from Zeka and he will be dead, although the sneezes do about 50% of anyone's health bar. So that would make some sense as Owner has come in with the base gate. There is a phenomenal arm guard utilized here from Zeka. Immediately flashes after him and burns him to death. Straight out of the death chamber, straight back in again. And Owner is unfortunately not going to be able to deny this Hextech soul. So somehow, after losing Delight and Doran for basically free, they still overextend, and it is going to be a Quadra Hextech.
But he did have, you know, like, what if the timing just shows that you barely...
disrespect.
This is very weird. They really want to kill Faker as Viper is going to satchel him, and Faker is dead. So
That's the TP, but no one really cares about that.
Yep. They do still have this inhibitor down in the bottom lane. Peanut just going to usher in those super creeps as this turret not long for the world. Viper does so much damage. Even like per auto, it's like half an inhibitor. Is that to get a positional advantage around the Elder as Solar Flare is going to connect onto Faker. He takes the kitchen sink. The mum damage kind of massive there as well as Fury of the Sands keeps him alive. But Ona doesn't have one of those, unfortunately. Down to the GA. Once again, Zeka just says, no, you're not ulting me. That is just not something you're allowed to do. And now the Viking trying to get on top of him, but Zeka's just not even taking damage. He gets a triple kill in the fight, and Faker and Guma, they realize that I think it's just not quite going to work out. Delight trying to look for him. He flashes over the base gate. There isn't anybody else there, but he is also so tanky, I don't even think it matters. Maybe someone else doesn't even really need to be there because Mega Inferno Bomb has infinite range. He once again goes in looking for Faker. He won't be able to tank up that last turret shot, but he's still able to get the work done. And now Gumayushi is not able to defend the base, and the game is over. HLE Esports will move to match point in the series.
16-2 Atlas.
Is a lot of hands required. Certainly a fun one, but something that you know, Doran has actually done very well on in the past. I think his Jax has been one of his better champions, but into Zeus and right now
Captain Barry this time around.
Oh, true.
And they TP'd Viper to catch that top wave. Doran's still going to be very, very sad, but Zeus hasn't backed.
Yeah, and he is very, very low. Zeka now in a little bit of trouble, but is able to snap back. Hextech Ultimatum does come down as Mom gets angry as well. A lot of damage there, but there's the flash forward into the crash down. Zeka's going to get interrupted. It's a decent pulverize. Zeus is burning, but he survives! And that is first blood onto Peanut, picked up by Gumayushi. Still, the cleanup is going to be there. Delight likely to fall down, though, and T1, they're stacking up Faker at the same time and collecting some grubs.
And again, they can just TP Camille to whichever wave they'd like. An overextension from Hanwha Life. And T1
is a 2 versus 2. Peanut continuing to bide his time as Zeus moving back to the tri-brush. There is the counter-strike. The chain CC's decent. Cease and assist comes down though, and that's Peanut. As Faker then doesn't get to stack off the Jackson, possibly even kill him. We've seen this play before. Faker is rotating down. Delight's already here though. Teleport to come in from Doran or from Viper as both of them turn up. That is a phenomenal headbutt though from Carrier trying to get them out of there, but Owner is in so much trouble. There's a killer instinct from Viper. He gets the big old shield. Peanut looking for the angle onto Faker, but he doesn't have any more gap close, and Faker's still looking to try and take him down. It's a double now though, and he just walks too far. Doran shuts down this.
And the one thing that I do think you struggle with Six and Smolder is well-coordinated dive. And to TP Zek at the top, got the shove there.
That's going to even out the grubs here, and means that both the Camille and the Jack's going to be on even footing as far as those side lanes are concerned. And moving towards this mid-game, we do have the Scryer's Orb does give T1 the knowledge that this is going down. But moving into the mid-game, we've got a Jack comes back. You know, they get a little bit of extra practice against D+, taking them down in a difficult series. And then Salt is going to be coming in as well, my personal favorite. You're going to run real fast, and that feels great. But we'll just see whether T1 can be allowed. Yeah.
But that's fake data. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah,
so
but
cool.
I mean, yeah.
It's like the turret's just gone. They get the turret anyway. I didn't really need to do that, but
he also wanted to be defending.
There we see some question mark pings. I think they know.
Well, Peanut is
there
walking
he is
to the back of the pit. In comes Delight now as the Arctic Assault is going to miss, and now Peanut Wants to find a priority target. Crashdown is going to be interrupted there, and Glacial Prison comes through as well. Zeka looking for the angle, but he isn't going to pull the trigger just yet. And now Viper going to get ultimatums. Zeka does find the angle though, and there is the ulti to come through. Mom comes down as well. Viper's thrown around the battlefield. They take down the Ziggs, but Faker is still at full health. And Zeka can't get on top of him. Peanut gets a huge shield though. Still the sneezing comes through, and Doran just picks up a triple kill out of nowhere. That's an ace. Job. All things considered, as there's a flash forward. They do manage to lock up Viper here, and they will be able to mitigate a lot of the push. Zeus now moving in. It will be the dragon taken, so Soul Point is going to come on through. Great knock-up. There's the Glacial Prison going to be eaten here by HLE Esports, but now Delight. Crashdown comes on back in. The ultimate, and it is just Zeka taking control. How do they make these things happen? Carrier, he's almost out of cooldowns. He finds one last pulverize, but this fight is done. And even without Viper there, they still roll over the top. This is probably the best day of League of Legends Zeka has ever had. And he won Worlds in 2022.
Yeah, and also we're coming in, we're like, oh, Doran, yeah, another great series. What have you been doing, my man? And
just
Jax,
still 100% kill contribution, by the way.
Jax does have an incredible amount of power in this draft. Again, Counter-Strike is insanely strong, but
LCK, teams waiting in the wings will mean that T1 not out of it. If they lose this game, they will have to face money. All right, Blast going to try and get them back in here as there's the Void Seeker. Viper taking matters into his own hands, and Goomer's just dead. There is nothing that they could do about it now. Carrier's in trouble. The Fate is going to get sealed, and even is able to queue out of the way of the Glacial Prison that was lying in wait. They are still taking a bit of damage here as more Void Seekers funnel on through. But this is going to be even more money going over to HLE Esports. That 10,000 gold gap is, I would say that it was probably an opportunity for you to go for it. That is going to be Cloud. So when the year started, we looked at HLE Esports and said, wow, okay, there's the cease and desist. Killer Instinct comes down. Gumiushi this time can go golden, but Delight is going to be here, and Viper just pops him. That is going to be Ona now in trouble. The Crashdown still gets the CC, even with the headbutt, and they're still going. Faker, he's going to go golden, but that is just to watch as the bad guys encroach. He can't get through the base gate as Doran's going to be able to lock him down. That is Viper dead once again, but he's been bait this whole game. And Zeus, he hook shots away. He is going to be able to get some funny business done, but the flash forward and then the counter strike. And I think he is just dead. That's going to be the ace. And HLE Esports, I think they're just going to say top of the morning to the series here as they look to push in for the win.
And Gen.G remains a formidable opponent, Atlas, but you really couldn't ask for more from Hanwha, showcasing that they are, in fact, and by a seemingly insurmountable...
If ever there's a time for a Hail Mary, though, it is right now. Voidseeker going to connect onto Ona as Zeka never mind, he's absolutely fine. Unbinds the soul, and Peanut going to get headbutted back, but now Doran looking for the angle, doesn't get the counter-strike as Gumiushi. He's able to flash to get himself out. That is a decent ulti though, and Doran just goes golden. The cease and desist comes down, and now it's Viper at full health, just massacring them, and the wallets, they come down hard. And that is going to be another ace. And that will finally be the win here for HLE Esports.
Clean ace, Atlas! As Hanwha stamps an end to this game and this series.
And a perfect game for both Doran and for Zeka. Incredible performances from the solo lanes in this one, but Zeka, this series for him, I mean, this is his magnum opus.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the post-match interview translation, joined by HLE Esports, the winners of the second match of Round 2 in the 2024 LCK playoffs, brought to you by Uribank. Let's hear from Doran, Peanut, Zeka, Viper, and Delight. Congratulations! First off, Doran with a 3-0 victory and winner's bracket secured. How do you feel? In the preparation process, we did know that it wasn't going to be easy, but I believe that we played the game thinking that the opponent actually came pretty prepared even for drafting. So I'm just really relieved that we were able to win. And in game 1, one, you picked Vladimir, which wasn't really played for 894 days. Despite so many diverse champions being played this meta, Vladimir was a first, so what made you pick him? I believe that he was a really good pick against Kennen. And with so many different champions that we were able to see right now, I think Vladimir is actually one of them, one of the really good picks that you're able to pull off this meta. And now you will advance to the winner's bracket and face Genji with the one-way ticket to the finals on the line. What is your resolution? Based on my experience playing in the playoffs, being able to go directly into the finals is actually a huge help, and it actually does bring you a lot of comfort. So I really hope that we can make it. And Peanut, a clean 3-0 victory. You were the POG in games 2 and 3. So did you have a good feeling on your way to the venue today? Well, as for the good feelings, I didn't really think of that, but I came today thinking we must win. I think that was just a really mindset that I came with that helped. And the draft you prepared against T1 were quite effective today, so what was the preparation process like? We considered a lot of jungle bans for today's match. And in terms of the meta, even with a lot of jungle bans, I think there were a lot of different picks that we can actually manage to pull off, so that's what we were focusing on. And you pulled off so many cracked pathing today. Both the casters and analysts were so impressed. So what was the main focus in the jungle pathing for today's match? For today's match and all the jungle paths, I think that's just something that I have been preparing and practicing a lot, and that actually did pay off a lot during today's match. What is your goal for the winner's bracket? We will be facing Genji, and I want to make sure that we are ready to take them down. Please give it up for Peanut. And next up is Zeka. In the preseason interview, you mentioned that your hometown is Pohang, which is close to Gyeongju City, and that's why you have to go. And now that you have secured a spot in Gyeongju with today's victory, how do you feel? Makes me so happy to get a victory, a 3-0 victory. And yeah, I mean, it's really close to my hometown. I'm very happy that I'm able to go so close to my home. And in game 1, you played Yone, who handled Lee Sin and LeBlanc's ganking and how they focused you down. And you handled it with such grace. So are you satisfied with your gameplay today? I feel like a lot of things that I did worked out really well. And I went into the game thinking that as long as I played defensively and survived, that we would be able to win pretty easily. And it worked. And the winner's bracket against Genji, how will you prepare for that? I feel like the structure of the playoffs for summer is kind of similar to spring, so I want to make sure that we're able to make it to the finals this time around. And next up is Viper. With the 3-0 stomp, you have advanced to the winner's bracket. How do you feel? First of all, I didn't expect that we would win 3-0. I really wanted to win, and I think we did a really good job today. I think everything went according to plan for today's match. And after prioritizing Ziggs in games 1 and 2, you picked Kaisa against Ziggs. So how do you think the drafting went? So currently, Ziggs is a really good meta pick. And honestly, I don't really like playing him, but because of how good he is, that's why I had to end up going with him. And in the last game, seeing the opponent take Ziggs, I think we just had a really good answer against that, so we were able to pull it off. And pace is also quite solid on Ziggs, so what are your predictions on the matchup? In the last match, Genji was actually able to utilize Ziggs and made it really tough against their opponent, so I want to make sure that we are prepared to go up against Genji. Let's give it up for Viper. And next up, we have Delight. Delight, what did you consider as the most important point of today's match? There was a very clear direction that our team had, and really wanted to make the right decision in every moment. And the opponent brought out diverse picks such as Seraphine and Shen. So what was your plan to deal with them as a support? Yeah, so a lot of the things that pro players play in the solo queue is something that they also bring out in scrims. So I think we had pretty much expected that they would play something like that. So we were just ready to counter that. So what is your goal for the rest of the playoffs? I want to make sure that we wait for everyone else, our opponents, in the finals. And going back to Peanut, the team captain, any shout out to the fans and how much their support means to you? You know, last spring we were able to win against T1 with a 3-0 score, but we didn't have a good result. So we want to make sure that we're able to come back and deliver a good result this time around. Thank you so much for your support. And that's the end of the post-match interview with the players of Hanwha Life Esports. And back to the space. Thank you.
Thank you very